Good evening. Welcome to Sports Sound Off. My name's Randy Adkins. I'm your host, and our guest this evening is former Buccaneer wide receiver Kevin House. How's it going?
Good, Randy. How you doing today?
Doing great. It's great to have you here. We're going to continue this conversation we've been having weekly regarding Tampa Bay sports. I'm going to talk with Kevin about his career, and hopefully we'll have some communication from the outside here with viewers via email or call in. If you're interested in calling and speaking with us about any sports event, you can call us in the studio, 813-254-7820. Kevin, I want to start off talking to you. Thanks for coming. A lot of people who were Bucs fans during the early 80s will remember you and will remember Jimmy Giles,
Exactly.
and DuBose and Doug Williams and Batman Wood and the guys that were here at that time. It was an exciting time, a lot going on, but I want to start a little earlier than that. You grew up in St. Louis. When did you start playing football?
Started playing at 11 years old, actually.
Okay.
Actually, let me back up a little bit. 9 years old is when I tried to start playing.
Okay.
My father took me, my mother took me to the practice one day, right? My father was supposed to pick me up. Forgot to pick me up.
Okay.
So that was it for the next 2 years.
That was it. You were there.
That was it. Mom wouldn't let me play anymore, so I start time was 11.
Oh wow!
Right.
All right. Was there a coach that really influenced you early on, or helped to develop your game, or helped develop your love of the game?
Most definitely. Lawrence Walls was my initial coach,
Okay.
and he was one of these guys who would push you to the limits and not let you quit. So I think that really instilled a lot of confidence, as well as durability and toughness.
Wow. Now, you talk about durability and toughness. I think of St. Louis as being kind of a no-nonsense part of the country and that kind of thing. Is that what was instilled in you early on?
Definitely. Practicing in the summertime in August, it's 101 degrees. You want to run sprints, and it was tough, and you had to be mentally tough to survive.
Yeah. You were a Southern Illinois Saluki. We were talking a little bit about that before we went on the air. There aren't too many around, but not considered a football powerhouse, at least by some, especially in SEC country here, where we think of Alabama and Georgia and that kind of thing. When you went to school, was the plan to become a pro football athlete?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No, actually, I was signed up to go to Northeast Missouri State. Last minute, Southern Illinois had a scholarship open up and gave me a call. I drove up there to sign it, so to show you how much fanfare I had at that point, right?
Right.
Signed the scholarship and started playing my freshman year, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, much has been made. I've been talking with several of the Bucs from the 70s and 80s, and we've talked about injuries and that type of thing. My recollection is you didn't have a big injury during your career as a pro.
That's correct.
So you went through unscathed.
I went through unscathed as a pro. I did have a major injury in college.
Okay.
I separated my shoulder. Still have a 3-inch screw in here for battle wounds. You have to have some type of.
You got a scar to show the girls.
You got to have
right?
some type of scar, right?
Okay.
Exactly.
This is my old football injury.
Exactly. That's my battle wound. So,
okay. All right. Well, you got to have those. But now, what that means to me is you actually went through and you hear, heck, we had the series in the Tampa Tribune not too long ago about the 79 Bucs. Jerry Eckwood being in an ALF. Some of the things that guys have gone through. What's your feeling about that type of stuff?
Well, it's I've had about 4 or 5 concussions myself as a pro player. So maybe I didn't get major injuries that are visible at this point, but I definitely had some injuries, cracked ribs and some concussions, which is concerning later in life. And I've seen some of the guys, and they're beat up pretty bad. I saw Batman not too long ago, and his back is in terrible shape, and knees are in terrible shape as well. So
you just hope that people come more to realize when we look at the gladiators on Sunday, the guys grow older, and when they start hitting your 50s, things happen. And
exactly. You're not a spring chicken anymore.
That's right. So it's got things you got to do. Well, speaking about that, you were a second-round pick for the Bucs. What were your expectations coming here to Tampa?
I was very excited. The 79 team was one of the greatest teams in Buccaneer history.
Right.
So seeing Doug Williams and Jimmy Giles and Leroy Selman and those guys play, I was excited to be part of this organization.
Right.
And McKay, let me just back up too.
Yeah.
John McKay was one of my all-time favorite college coaches.
Oh,
and I wanted to be a USC Trojan. That was one of my passions.
Yeah.
And the ironic part was coming to pro ball and playing for John McKay.
Now, I've asked several people this question. He's always made me laugh with the interviews afterward. You know, he asked about the offense, you know, and performance, and he said, "Yeah, I'm all for it."
Yes.
Now, all sorts of.
Right.
Was he like that in the locker room? Was he like
He
that?
was. He was.
Loose
John McKay was one of the greatest personalities that I've ever been around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed playing for him. And I'll give you a quick story about me and John's interaction. Midway through my rookie year, I was going across the middle against Dallas and did what you call the alligator arms.
Oh yeah.
You know, I saw a linebacker coming, and I did the alligator arms, and then I went back to the sideline, and McKay just walked over to me, never looked at me, and just like we are right here, he was looking forward and said, "This is a man's game, son." And that's all it took. I took off. From that point on, I got the message.
You got to take the hit. You go across the middle. That's part of the game.
That's all you had to say to me, and my career took off from there.
Wow, that's great. Now, see, it's funny. We were just showing a graphic of you with a touchdown over Dallas. So obviously you got over that.
Oh, I got over that quickly.
You got over that quick. Yeah. Now you caught some great long balls from Doug Williams.
Exactly.
And he threw as long and as hard as anybody you can think of. You hear about guys saying they could hear the ball coming? Could you hear it coming?
Yeah. Well, you know, it was a blessing actually to have somebody to throw that hard. It kept you out of trouble. Going across the middle, if the ball is hanging up, that's when you get your neck knocked off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a blessing, actually. I played with a guy in college named Arthur Slingshot Williams.
Oh, really?
He threw the ball just as hard, so I was prepared coming into the pro ball.
Well, and you were playing when Finsick was coming across the middle, and you did not want to have Plank and Finsick out there with the Bears waiting for you.
Well, those guys, fortunately, were a little bit slower than me, so
That's true.
so they never really got me.
That's true.
Jimmy was going across the middle. Giles was going across the middle,
and
I think both of those guys got Jimmy pretty good a couple of times. So I remember helping Jimmy come to our sideline away from the Bears sideline.
Yeah, that's the wrong place to be.
That's the wrong place when you're dizzy, especially.
Yeah, that's definitely the wrong place. What do you if somebody asked you what's your proudest moment on a football field, what would that be?
On a football field? Well, as a pro?
Yeah, as a pro.
Probably catching my longest touchdown pass in my career against the Lions to put us in the playoffs.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty proud moment.
Okay, so that leads to the question, what's your proudest moment off the field?
Off the field? The birth of my kids.
Well, that's cool.
The birth of my kids. I have 3 beautiful children, and proud of them to this day.
Now, you have one of the distinctions of being one of the few guys that can say, my son played in the NFL.
That's true.
I mean, people talk about Clay Matthews Jr. now and Clay Matthews Sr., but I mean, you have that. How is that to see your son come up and follow your footsteps and do that?
Nothing like it. I mean, it's just so proud to see your name carried on, not only in life, but on the football field as well. So that was a pretty proud moment when Kevin started playing pro ball. I could put my shoulders down and say, that's my son right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I was pretty proud.
That's cool. That's great. I mean, especially, in this town, when people talk about, oh, we know Kevin House, and now you could say which one, right?
Exactly.
And then that's really great.
That's not a problem at all.
No, there you go. Let's see here. As we get toward